Next team, Aston Martin. What do you think's their biggest weakness?
Might crack.
Hello out there in internet land. This is the F1 chat, episode 2. It's proper episode 2. Is the our talk discussion on preseason testing, the non-secretive one. I am your host, Phil Lamington. Sitting to my left is a guy who he could probably get the intro to this damn show right. JB, how are you, JB?
I can get the intro right because it's literally in front of your face on the screen. And you still fucked it up.
And I left it in. I left it in just for you, all right?
Bonus content.
The bloopers reel. It's like a Jackie Chan movie.
That's it.
And sitting to my right, he's not sitting behind us. He's still upgraded. It's like going from economy class to first class, really. Sitting to my right is a man who, I think he'd be able to get the name of the damn show right too. It's Longhorn. Longhorn, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I hope I'd get it right, considering it is right in front of us on the giant screen.
Well, I'm not looking up at the screen, and because this is the first time we can actually acknowledge that this episode is also not only going up on YouTube, it's also going up on Spotify.
It is. We weren't cancelled after the first ep, boys.
Woo!
They approved us.
They indexed us. We're legit.
We're indexed.
We're up there with Joe Rogan.
We're coming for you.
We're coming. No, we can't
Don't
say
that word.
Yeah, don't say that word. Booker T,
He knows.
WCW. You know what we're talking about.
Wrestling fans know that reference.
So, we had testing at Bahrain. Bahrain. It's a Scottish version.
Bahrain.
Bahrain. Laddie. Oh, we're just comedy gold. So we're going to talk about what happened at testing at Bahrain last week in the precursor to next week's race. But we're going to go over some news stories that occurred around the preseason testing that was non-secretive. The first item is that Imola is going to remain on the F1 calendar until 2025.
Yeah, I'm happy with that news. I mean, it's a historic track. I mean...
Yeah, it killed Senna.
Well, yeah, but besides that, you know, and it's good to have 2 Italian Grand Prix. I think Italy probably deserves a second race, so it's a second chance for the Tifosi to get out and support their boys, especially this year because they're looking half decent.
Well, I think Imola should stay on the calendar because it's a legacy race. It's up there with, Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps, Monza,
Yeah.
Hockenheim, Albert Park.
Yeah, I mean, the track, the revamped Albert Park.
Yeah, with Tilke's involvement.
Yeah, right. I mean, the track itself, I've never really been a fan of, racing in the game or whatever, but, you're right. It's historical. It's definitely got more relevance than, a few of the tracks Formula One has visited in the past, like, India or Korea or those tracks that only lasted 1 or 2 years.
And it's almost like a tribute to Senna by continuing to race there in a sense, because they've got a statue there for him and everything.
Yeah.
And, it's sort of like that's how I sort of look at it. Like you're saying, it's a historic circuit. And
I have to spin off for a second because I'm about 3/4 of the way through the latest season of Drive to Survive. Now, I know JB hasn't seen this episode yet, but they do an episode about Williams.
It's great.
And they do interview Johnny's wife, Claire.
Yeah.
Claire Williams.
Yes.
And at the end, they do actually dedicate the episode to, pardon me, to Sir Frank, which was nice. It was a nice little touch.
Absolutely.
But they talk about, I think, Jost Capito, who is the CEO of Williams. He talks about the legacy of Williams F1 and Williams racing. And they show, like, all these drivers with, like, I think Claire Williams says it, actually. She's like, Williams has launched the careers and made superstars out of so many drivers, and they show photos and clips of various drivers. And the last driver they show is Senna. I'm sorry.
Whoops.
I'm sorry, but no, you did not make Senna. That's McLaren.
Yes.
He's a McLaren boy. All you did was kill him. So, shut the fuck up.
Wow. I didn't think you were going to go down that tangent, but
Take that, Drive to Survive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get
fuck.
that, Netflix. Cop that.
yeah, I mean, he was only there for, what was it, 4 races?
Yeah, about 5 months.
Yeah, like, and every time he was in that car, he was facing the wrong way at one point or another. So, no, you're right. Like, and I think if Ron Dennis would have handled the situation better, probably could have stayed at McLaren and not be dead right now. And he would have been teammates at Mika Hakkinen by 95, 96. He probably, could you imagine if it was Hakkinen and Senna in like 98 instead of Hakkinen and Coulthard?
I think, honestly, I
Like,
think Senna
would
would
have
have
been
retired.
like before coming to the end, but I mean, I wonder how he would have liked the paddle shift cars or the groove tires or the V10 engines. I wonder if he would have started falling out of love
well,
with Formula One by that stage.
On Friday night and Thursday night and a little bit of Saturday night, I was watching the live stream on the F1 Words YouTube channel. Please go and check them out. Sean from the F1 Word, him, Chain Bear, great content providers, creators. So check them out. Free plug for them. But I was watching their live stream of testing, where they were just putting up the results because you can't actually put the results up on the footage up. And
Which baffles me.
Someone someone in the chat actually asked the question, and I'll pose it to you guys now, and I haven't, there's no notes on this or anything. But the question was, who would be better in their prime? Senna, Schumacher, or Hamilton?
You can't answer that question.
Better,
it's a different
better
generation.
in their prime. Yeah, they're all different generations. If I had to go off gut, I would have Hamilton last. I know that much. Out of the 3,
Yeah.
the next 2, flip a coin.
For me, honestly, it would be Schumacher. He did go through the stick shift era with Senna, then into the paddle shift, and then even though he's driving for Mercedes, he did catch the tail end of the introduction of KERS.
Yeah. I think it's so subjective. I don't think you could.
I think.
I mean, would Senna and Schumacher enjoy this current generation of car? Probably not. Can Lewis Hamilton drive stick shift in the wet one-handed? Probably not. What would you do? You could have all 3 of them in their prime, but what car do you stick them in? What car? If you put them all in the MP44 in the pouring rain, Senna probably dominates both of them.
Yeah.
If you put them in the W13, Lewis kicks their ass. If you put them in the Ferrari F2004, Schumacher probably would. What do you do?
I think it's going to just be a very subjective
It's
answer.
too. I think it's too subjective.
Yeah,
I think though
opinion.
the universal agreement, and I know JB hasn't said anything, but I think the universal agreement is that Lewis Hamilton comes third.
Yeah, I think that would be straight off the bat.
Yeah, I think, especially if they're going to force him into a dogfight. We already said that we don't think he's that great a wheel-to-wheel racer. And I think Ayrton Senna is very much in the Max Verstappen mould.
Yeah.
He definitely, and Schumacher
So
is too.
Schumacher, yeah.
Sumacher can race wheel-to-wheel. So
it'd really be a 2-horse race.
Schumacher and Senna. And
I'd go with Schumacher, but it's such a
yeah.
it.
It's
you know,
it's a debate sparker.
it's
at
a
least.
pin drop.
Oh God, it's
Just kind of come down to preference. Like JB's going to say Senna because he's McLaren. you're going to say Schumacher because you're Ferrari. Like, it's, you know, that's kind of probably
And
going to
you're
influence
you're
your
gonna
decision
say
a little bit.
You're going to say Maldonado.
And like for me, I'm sort of like, I can't really pick between the two, but yeah, like I said, it comes down to those fine little margins where, like I said, the reason JB's going to pick Senna is probably the McLaren tyre, and you're going to pick Schumacher the Ferrari tyre. But if you put it on a neutral pedestal, that it's so close, that's the only way you're going to sort of pick them differently. Is that a tiny little bias?
I think if it's raining, Ayrton. If it's dry, probably Schumacher. But it's close.
And if the first two crash out, it's Hamilton.
Yeah, well, that's it.
So moving right along, so we're all happy that Imola's going to be around until 2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't blow my breath away as a track, but nice.
I'd rather it there than a lot of other tracks.
Yeah, there's
so.
a lot of other tracks they could have chosen. There's a lot of tracks that I'm happy for Formula One not to go back to. So.
Is it your what's your preferred Italian circuit?
Monza.
Monza. Yeah,
Monza.
definitely.
But Imola isn't in Italy, technically. It's in San Marino,
Yes.
which is its own state, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
But
Is it its own country?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Next story. Daniel Ricciardo missed test at Bahrain because he was tested positive for COVID.
He had his own test of his own kind, and it wasn't a good one.
That's a shame
It was
because
positive.
it was a positive test. But the
For who?
the ramifications for that is that if he's not well enough in time for Bahrain, the apparently it's going to be Oscar Piastri that fills in.
Yeah.
Oh, they have a plethora. They have Nick de Vries and Stoffel van Dorn, and Oscar Piastri. Technically, Alpine's letting him be a free agent
Yeah.
because he's obviously not going to be driving in Formula One this year as a full time. The bottom line with this one is Daniel Ricciardo's 7-day isolation ends on Friday,
Yeah.
which is practice day. McLaren have a choice. They can either test him again, and if he's positive, he's out, or they can not test him again and bring him back into the paddock with the risk that he's still infectious. So I think the smart option is to test him again. But that said, Oscar Piastri hasn't really driven a 2022 car yet, and you're just going to have to put him straight in a race. But then again, neither's Nick de Vries and neither is Stoffel van Dorn. So
And their other choice is Colton Herter, and they can't.
Colton
really-
Herter is driving the old car. He's just doing. I don't know what it is, but he's driving last year's car as a test driver. I don't know what he's testing. I think it's just Formula One experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a different car, but he doesn't get access to this year's car.
No.
He gets last year's car. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit up in the air. I think if Daniel passes his test on Friday, he's back. If he's not, who do you pick? Do you pick Piastri? I guess he's probably the logical choice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would go him. Yeah.
I'd like to see that, and he's Australian, so he just slots straight in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to change the flag.
Throw him a fucking Vegemite sandwich and a VB and get him on his way.
This is very unfortunate, Ricardo, though. Not just obviously having COVID, but this is crucial time for him to be getting used to this car. So for him to be missing it is, in the biggest year of probably his career.
Yeah, let's not forget how much pressure he's under too.
Yeah, so
Well, it is make or break for him this year. Like if he
that's
doesn't come through this year, I don't think he's going to be staying at McLaren for much longer.
Well, he's got
No.
one more year in his contract. So
Yeah, but I mean they can.
yeah, I know they can terminate. I don't think they will. I think they'll let him ride out the 3 years.
Yep.
But
They'll line up his
knowing
replacement.
that, God, Colton Herter's there, Pato Ward if they want to bring him over from IndyCar, Stoffel's still there, Nick de Vries. I guess he's a Mercedes reserve driver, but they could bring him up, or they could try and bring Carlos Sainz back from Ferrari.
yeah, who knows who's on the market then? Gasly,
Yeah.
another big name driver might come up.
Yeah, he's under a lot of pressure. He doesn't need this. He fucking does not need this right now.
No.
You know, and it's... Yeah, not only has he missed the last test, so it's less time in the car. If he misses the first race, then he's going into Melbourne, his home race, with fuck all driving time in that car.
Yeah.
And,
And the other bad thing too, right, is what if... This is, you know, a big what if, but what if, say, Oscar Piastri goes in the car, impresses, and then Danny Rick comes in the car and doesn't impress, compared to that one, you know, drive by, say, Piastri.
Which is a real possibility if he hasn't got his head around it already.
That's right. So this could... I'm fingers crossed he comes out of isolation and can go to the first race. But
he hadn't been feeling well since Thursday, Australian time, Thursday. And if he's got to go into isolation for 7 days, then I think he'll test negative and he'll be right to race.
For his sake, I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard though that they'll because that's the rules here at the moment in Australia. I don't know what it's like wherever they are.
It's the same.
Where he's going to be.
It's the same, yeah.
So, as far as I'm aware, you do your 7 days isolation and then you do not have to test after that because...
Which is the option.
Yeah.
Which is the option McLaren have, but if they don't test him and he's still got it in his system and he infects Lando and the fucking engineers and Zach Brown... And, you know, I had COVID. I did my 1 week isolation. No one in my house got COVID and no one at work got COVID. So, and I'm not Joe Roganing this right now on Spotify, but it fucking really doesn't seem as spreadable as people claim, but the risk is still there.
Yeah, the thing I suppose they've been saying is that you'll keep testing positive after the 7 days, but without any symptoms.
It's still in your system for a month.
Yeah, but you might not even be passing it on at that point. But that, like you're saying, that is the risk. What do? Like you said, he could come in and still just have a bit of it to pass on,
and then boom, Lando's out.
Bang, the whole of McLaren's buggered. So it is a hard one to think.
I think then that just fucking answers their own question. Just test him.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
after 7.
If he's out, he's out. Sorry. If he's in, he's in. But it's not like they don't have an okay, you know, backup option in Piastri.
True.
Which would be awesome for Piastri, but we'll see.
It's like a silver lining getting Piastri in, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be upset with that scenario either. But, we'll see. Time will tell. We'll find out on Friday.
So the next story, unfortunately, is a bit of a sad story. Is that Nikita Mazepin has had his contract torn up with Haas. Now, last episode, we were particularly brutal on him, like particularly me sitting there saying, nah, if he gets his contract torn up, he can bugger off. He's a crappy driver. I feel bad for him now.
Yeah. Look, I've been one of the bigger critics of him on this pod, especially if you go back to our season review last year. I had some not too fond words of Mazepin, and if you after watching Drive to Survive, I didn't think much of him either. After watching that.
my opinion of his old man plummeted as well.
Yeah. But I will say I do feel sorry for him, and I didn't want him to lose his seat this way because it's got nothing to do with him, in my opinion. I think he should still be racing, and he would have lost his seat anyway, I believe, because he's just not a good driver and shouldn't be there. But I didn't want it to be done in this way. I wanted him to lose it off his own back, and then that's how that story plays out. It's not, now it's kind of a scapegoat. He could sit there and say, well, I lost it because of this. I never got a chance. I never got this, I never got that. But, the reality is he was never going to be good enough. I mean, this is the best thing to actually happen for Haas. Like, this has been great. Like, they get to cut the tyres of Uralkali and Mazepin, and obviously they can still financially go for the season. So that's the best outcome they could have gotten, but I didn't like how it happened. Not that was Haas's fault, but...
In Drive to Survive, they highlight that Haas was financially crippled and they needed Uralkali money in order to keep going.
Oh, yeah, it was very hinted that, and Uralkali had a big say in a lot of things because of it, because they had to put so much money in.
Which is why my opinion of Dmitry Mazepin just plummeted like a rock, because he's sitting there trying to influence stuff. I'm trying not to spoil it too much for JB, who hasn't watched it yet.
Oh, go ahead, boys. I'm gonna watch it. Like by the end of the week, I would have watched it.
But yeah, Mazepin deserved to lose his seat under performance things, not because of finances. But
I'm not sitting here being sad thinking that we've just lost a future world champion. I'll say that much.
I mean, we've lost someone that shouldn't have been on the grid in the
We
first
lost
place, so
someone
that's
whose
good.
trajectory was already fucking going down.
Yeah,
like he was on the path out.
he should have never been in. But yeah.
We've had plenty to fucking say about him.
Did you know that Dmitry Mazepin was actually one of the people that tried to buy Force India?
Oh, right.
And that's why he pumped cash into Haas, because he was trying to buy Force India and he got outbid by Lawrence Stroll and he got pissed about it.
That's probably the best thing that happened.
Yeah, thank God for that.
Racing points.
I mean,
Aston Martin.
it means we get stuck with another crap driver. Well, I say crap, he's not as bad as Mazepin, but another driver I wish wasn't on the grid in Stroll, but it's still better than Mazepin.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
The Mazepin family.
But the point I was making before I got sidetracked was they make out that in 2020, 2021, Haas needed Uralkali money. And now pundits in the F1 grid, the what's the backstage area? The
paddock, man.
The paddock. That's the one. That's the one.
You're on fire tonight, Phil.
Oh, it's been a long day. In the paddock are saying, oh, well, Gene Haas can cover it. Well, if Gene Haas could cover it, why didn't he cover it 2 fucking years ago?
Yeah.
Because, it's money.
Leaking money to
it's
be
money
at the back.
he doesn't have to pay.
And did you know that more than 5 times Michael Andretti tried to buy the team off Gene Haas and he wouldn't sell?
That's the part I don't understand. I can understand Gene Haas not wanting to throw more money in a struggling team, etc. But then why not sell and get out to a team someone who wants to pump more money in to make it better? Do you know what I mean?
Is Gene Haas genuinely enjoying Formula One? Because I don't think he fucking is.
It never looked like he did.
No.
Like in the last Drive to Survive seasons, he didn't look.
He doesn't look
impressed.
Happy. He doesn't look like
you know.
Is it just sheer stubbornness? Yeah.
I don't even know.
Is it just sheer stubbornness that he wants his name on the biggest pinnacle of motorsport?
Do you think it might be because Gunther Steiner is so passionate about it? He's just like, oh, I'll just keep doing it. I'll just keep going through the motions.
No, because why then would he fucking need Dmitry Mazepin's help?
Yeah.
Gene Haas isn't pumping money into the sport because he's passionate about the fucking sport.
Is Penske big in IndyCar?
Yes. Penske and Haas are and Chip Ganassi.
So Haas are big in IndyCar as well. Do you think this is like I've got this over Penske, because they're quite competitive, aren't they, Haas and Penske?
Yeah.
Do you think this is like a Haas has got something in F1 Penske doesn't? Like that's why he holds on to it. You know what I mean? As a bit of a mantle of
maybe, but
we're in the pinnacle of motorsport and Penske isn't.
Yeah, but Penske could easily get their own team in if they wanted to.
Right, but they don't.
And it's probably the same thing with Andretti. Like, he's sitting there going, look, we're in F1. You're not.
Well, Penske's the team that's dominating IndyCar, so
yeah.
This is probably Haas's fucking rebuttal.
That's what I'm saying.
But they're not dominating Formula One, so...
No, but...
So how much sleep is Penske losing?
Hey, no. You've got that wrong. They are dominating F1. The back end of F1.
Yeah, but I mean, exactly. It's not like Haas is out here winning Formula One championships.
No, that's right.
No.
Roger Penske's not losing any fucking sleep over it.
No.
But, that I didn't know Michael Andretti had tried to fucking buy out.
Yeah, he tried to buy Haas and they wouldn't sell, so he went, fuck it, I'll just buy my own team.
I hope that happens.
I hope so too.
And then I hope he's better than Haas.
I actually hope Andretti come in and Haas gets sold to someone else. And Andretti become the...
Without Uralkali, I wonder how much longer Gene Haas is going to pump money into it now that it's all his money.
Because, I want to see enthusiastic owners. I want to see, Lawrence Stroll. Love him or hate him. He's got a plan. He loves F1. He's putting his money where his mouth is. He's making his team successful.
That team's going to be successful. And you can tell that team is going to be successful.
Yeah.
Within 5 years.
Their trajectory is going forward.
I can't fucking see anything with Haas.
They're not going anywhere. The best they're ever going to get is a points finish.
They've gone backwards.
Yeah.
They had Grosjean and fucking Magnussen when they first started.
Yeah.
And they've just gone on this big swing down. At least... Racing Point have had wins.
But you know when that big downward swing started happening? When they brought in everyone's mate, and he's getting free airtime again, Rich Energy.
Yeah.
As soon as Rich Energy, the only thing that Rich Energy did was gave him a really awesome livery. Other than that, nothing.
That was a nice livery.
That's their best livery.
I know, isn't that sad?
You know, the John Player special colours. Just, mwah, chef's kiss.
Well, if Gene doesn't want to pump all his money into the team,
Which it
maybe
seems
he
he
goes
doesn't.
one fucking William Story and fucking
I
see
mean,
what he's up to.
it seems he doesn't want to put his money in. Like, it seems he's just putting in enough to keep the name going. You know, keep the team
Yeah, he's
alive.
keeping his
alive.
name,
Like,
he's keeping his name over the door.
yeah, you know what I mean? That's what it feels like. And it's like, okay, if you want to do that, the team's not going to go anywhere. Why wouldn't you sell to someone like Andretti who wants to come in and wants to be in F1 and wants to do what Aston Martin are doing, Lawrence Stroll's doing there? Like, I don't understand holding on to something that you're not keen to put money in. That's why I'm posing the question to you. Is it like a power play thing to be like, well, we know Pence doesn't have F1. Is it like one of those things, you know, like, oh, we're in F1, you know?
I think it is.
I think
it
so.
is.
And that would be all it is.
Yes, yeah,
Because fucking he's in F1, but he's the laughing stock of F1.
yeah.
But he's at
Yeah.
least in F1.
That's right. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the pinnacle of motorsport. You can make the argument, isn't it better to be in F1 than not? Like, even if you suck?
I
Because,
don't
I mean,
know.
Penske
'Cause
has
it is
dominated
the-
everything. Because, Penske's got a share in Dick Johnson Racing.
They did. They pulled out after
Okay.
Scotty McLaughlin left.
Oh, rightio.
Which is why Scotty McLaughlin's at the, I think it's Penske IndyCar team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that Penske IndyCar team,
I think.
Zach Brown is a part of it, isn't he? A
Uh,
financial backer in that?
Is he?
I think he is.
No, he's Walkinshaw. I think Zach Brown's Walkinshaw Andretti United, which is supercars. I'm not sure
Yeah.
about. I'm not sure about Penske.
Oh, okay. I've probably got my facts wrong there.
Yeah, I haven't really looked into Penske's side too
And-
much.
I think Penske is pretty dominant in NASCAR as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
I want to pose a quick question to you guys. What would you rather? Would you rather just be in a team in F1? I'm not saying it's like Haas and you're at the bottom, but you're just in an F1 team. Or would you rather be in a championship, say, IndyCar team, like the top team in IndyCar?
Well, you'd probably be.
Or V8 Supercar, like in any other code, would you rather
I'd rather be in Formula One purely for the paychecks. I reckon a midfield driver. If I was driving if I had Sebastian Vettel's contract, I'd probably rather that over a Will Powers IndyCar contract or Shane Van Gisbergen supercar contract.
Yeah,
'Cause
obviously the
'cause
money's bigger, but
obviously the money's bigger. Yeah.
take the money side out of it.
All
like,
right.
what would you pick? You know, would you rather be winning in IndyCar, or would the heart of you be like, but
well,
I'm in Formula One?
JB can think about it for a sec. My answer would actually be I would take a top-level IndyCar drive.
Okay. Yep.
Because the idea of driving around, say the offer was to drive for Alfa Romeo or
Yep.
Haas in F1.
Yep.
I would go bonkers mad driving around in a back market team.
Mm.
A choice between a back market team or a team that's winning races, winning championships. Yeah, I'd want to be competitive.
Yep. Yep.
And I'd feel like I'm not being competitive in... It would just frustrate the hell out of me.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, I would be frustrated driving around in a backmarker Formula One team, but that's exactly where I'd be.
Mm.
Because then I'm in the pinnacle of motorsport. My credentials are then enough to when I get the shits, I can go wherever the fuck I want.
Yep.
I can go to World Endurance Championship. I can go to IndyCar, NASCAR, Supercars, World Rally Championship, although that's a completely different discipline, so I'd probably go to World Endurance.
Yep.
My credentials is on my resume, Formula One driver.
Yep.
And not many people get that opportunity.
Here's something, though. Did you know? So, you know, to get into F1, you have to build up enough points on your super license to get an F1 license, right?
How did Mazepin do that?
He was in F2, F3.
Okay.
Now, say you're in
And a fuck ton of money.
that
Yeah.
too. So, to get an F1 super license, you've got to earn X amount of points.
I think it's
in-
12.
Yeah. You got to earn X amount of points to get an F1 license. Say every race you get 2 points or whatever. You know, if you race in IndyCar, you get half as many points towards your F1 super license.
Because it's a different discipline?
Because it's not FIA.
Yeah, right.
So if F2 gets you 2 points per race for your F1 super license, every IndyCar race is only worth 1 point.
Yeah. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's fucking crap. I can't believe
it's a different
that.
discipline. Like, you can't...
I mean, it's still open wheel racing.
Yeah. But Formula 3 and Formula 2 have the pedigree of a Formula 1 car. An IndyCar's nothing like a fucking
Yeah, and
Formula
I think
1
they
car.
would also do it to encourage people to be in, like, to go through F3, F2, do you know what I mean? It's like an encouragement to keep those formulas going.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see many IndyCar drivers coming over and
No.
dominating Formula 1.
Jacques Villeneuve,
Okay, one.
Juan Pablo Montoya.
I wouldn't say he dominated.
He did all right.
He did okay.
Nigel Mansell went from F1 to IndyCar. He left F1 as world champion, went to IndyCar, became world champion, then went back.
I feel like the transition going to Formula 1 to IndyCar is a fuckload easier
Yeah.
than going from IndyCar to Formula 1.
Yeah. Right. Moving along to the next story which broke, which was because Nikita Mazepin got his contract torn up, they needed a driver. We saw the return of Kevin Magnussen to Haas.
Hey, K-Mag.
Yeah, I'm happy with that move.
Yep.
Even though he said when he left, I'm not coming back to F1. Fuck F1.
And then as soon as the door opened, I'm back.
Yeah.
And he actually said, like, I said FF1, I'm not coming back. He goes, and then I spent a year away from it. I missed it. So this is...
I'm glad at least he's coming back with a passion.
At least this is a driver that deserves to be on the grid.
And
Which I'm
someone that
happy
Haas
for.
knows.
Yeah, someone Haas knows. This is great for Mick Schumacher. Like, this is the best thing for that Haas team going forward
And
to get out of their rut.
His first day at testing, he sets the fastest time all day.
And he
In
didn't
the
break.
Haas.
And he didn't break Gunther's fuck door. Yet. There's time.
That's it.
I think it's great that K-Mag's back, though.
I think it's great that K-Mag's back, and I think it's great that he showed that Haas has potential
Yeah.
by setting the fastest time of day 2.
And, you know, that second day, not only did K-Mag set the fastest time, but Mick Schumacher was up there.
He went second, didn't
Is
he?
that Haas a sleeping giant, or did they just get lucky?
Mick Schumacher went second one day.
That
he
was
did.
the third day.
Day 3, yeah, he went
Day
second.
3.
Oh,
Maybe there is something in this Haas.
maybe this Haas is better than we fucking
Maybe
think.
it's just a reliability they need to fix, not...
Maybe it's getting rid of the Mazepins.
Could
No,
be.
no, seriously. Maybe getting rid of the Mazepins, getting the Colgate colours off, because they've got a new livery
It looks good.
that actually looks pretty good.
I could definitely see that being the thing, because if you watch Drive to Survive and you watch the Haas episode, you could feel how negatively that Mazepin family was having on the morale of everything, because everything Mazepin was basically not taking the blame for anything. It was everyone else's fault. It was, the team's not doing things for him. They're not getting the same. You know what I mean? It was always someone else's fault, and Mazepin was Dimitri was pulling we'll pull the funding card. Like, imagine working under that. Whereas now that's gone, and you get K-Mag in, someone you already know. The engineers are in. Imagine the relief of the Mazepin's engineer who gets K-Mag back. He'd be like, "Oh, thank you. You're back. I'm excited to work again."
How fucking happy the engineers are when K-Mag walks around the
But I mean,
corner instead of Nikita.
in that episode of Drive to Survive, you get the impression that Dimitri Mazepin is almost intimidating
Yes,
Gunther Steiner
100%.
and threatening to pull the money if he doesn't get his own way. And it's like, mate, get the fuck out. Like, leave the driving to the drivers, the engineering to the engineering, and you can leave the fucking AK-47s to yourself.
Well, that was literally what was happening. Like, Mazepin was doing dog shit because he's dog shit, and he was saying that Mick had a different chassis. So they swapped for Mazepin to prove that nothing was different in the cars. It's just literally you're driving, and he was still bad, and he still wouldn't take the the responsibility for it. He was still like. So I think you're onto something there. I think this is actually going to help propel them up again. Maybe there's something to that car that we weren't seeing before at the start of pre-season testing. Maybe they do have something, and at least now they've got 2 drivers that will get it out of that car.
And maybe it was because Mazepin is quote-unquote a shit driver. He could never actually give the car... He couldn't give the engineers any feedback about the car. He could never make the car do what it needed to.
Because he never understood it.
Yeah.
He never understood how to even drive the car, so imagine the feedback they're getting back when you got a driver who doesn't even understand it.
You know who he reminded me of? Again, it's a reference to the movie Days of Thunder, but Tom Cruise's character. At the start, Robert Duvall's character is trying to tell him, if you tell me about the car, we can take a pitch here and do this and do that. And he's like, I am an idiot. I do not understand anything you've just said. I don't know how to tell you what's going on. I could just jump in a car and drive. I think that's Mazepin's thing, is that so many people are like, you're such a great driver and daddy's got money. You can be in Formula One, but you've got to be something special to be in F1.
And he is a decent driver. I mean, you don't make it to F1 without being one of the world's best drivers. But like you said, there's then that next level you have to be. You have to be special to be the top 20.
That's right.
And he isn't.
And when you finish 21st out of 20 drivers in 2021, you've got issues.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Kevin Magnussen coming into Haas has just bumped the enthusiasm and the level of that team straight up.
100%. And it gives Haas some interest this season. People will actually want to watch them even if they are at the back.
And Mick Schumacher's going to... I mean, not that Mick Schumacher really needs help.
It's just nice to have an experienced driver that's going to work with him.
He will get more help with Kevin Magnussen than he will with Nikita Mazepin.
Yeah, 100%.
A fuckload more.
Yeah, I mean, Magnussen might learn some stuff from Mick as well.
100%.
So, yeah.
Win-win situation.
Right, so now... Actually, I'm going to fast forward these two. So we're going to get to a next news story, which is about Mercedes. And specifically Lewis Hamilton, who has come out and said that he does not expect the Mercedes to be competitive this year.
Okay, Mercedes, you do this every year.
Excellent.
This year, I think it's genuine.
I don't.
I think it's partially true, only because George Russell doesn't look confident.
Yeah, but is George Russell just playing the perfect Mercedes part because he's just like Lewis? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. A lot of the talk around the paddock is George Russell genuinely doesn't look thrilled.
That car is porpoising.
Yeah, it's still porpoising now. It was porpoising on day 3 of the test.
And
did you see the onboard of was Russell in the car or Hamilton? I don't know who it was. Coming down the front straight, and it bouncing like
a seesaw.
It was fucking terrible before the braking zone.
Yeah.
Well, on the F1 chat, F1 chat.
That's us, Phil.
That's us.
On the F1 word, Sean from the F1 Words live stream on day 1 of testing, everyone was noticing the cars were porpoising a lot, and someone came up with the idea of putting slow motion porpoising video together with the song WAP.
Jesus.
To which someone had to tell Sean what the song was.
Oh dear.
And then he went, I can't say the name of the song. I purposely actually put in there that it shouldn't be that song. It should be Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus.
Equally as annoying.
Yeah. But she did twerking. Like, she made twerking a thing.
She
and
did.
that's what everyone was calling it. It wasn't calling it porpoising. They were calling it twerking.
Twerking. Twerking because it's not twerking. My car's not twerking.
But I mean, they even
does this have an element of the whole Bono, my tyres are gone, and then sets the fastest lap sort of thing?
That's what I'm thinking.
Because Mercedes have done this before, but
always do it.
Yeah. I mean, the long and short of this question is, we'll know on Saturday night.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't know the genuine pace of these cars until quali.
I think, though, like, even if Mercedes struggle at the first, I think they'll rectify it quickly.
Exactly.
That's just how Mercedes are.
That's the thing. Like, they tried the new side pods, and it didn't do anything. And what's got me with these new side pods, I don't have any photos of it because it was another secret test, that was not really a secret.
This was less secret than the first test, but there was less information from this test
Yeah.
than there was from the first test.
But those side pods that the Mercedes had, like,
Those super narrow ones.
yeah.
They
And
stood them vertical instead of horizontal, which is...
Christian Horner apparently off the record was like, oh, we're going to ask the FIA about legality over it. And then Red Bull and Christian Horner had to come out and say, no, I didn't say that, when we actually think it might be quite legal.
Yeah, he actually come out and said quite some nice comments, which was decent, where he basically said the great thing about F1 was that everyone has a different interpretation of what to design. A design input. I'm doing my best field impression here. That's it. That's fine. And it's great to see, essentially.
I got the words right.
It's great.
I got it right.
And that was the big thing with these regulations. They
What, that I got the words right?
No. The regulations, everyone was so scared that these regulations were going to be so fucking restrictive. And we were going to come out with like 22 cars or 20 cars that are the exact same.
And we're not by far.
Every team on the grid has got something different.
Which is great.
Which is cool.
I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But the thing about the side pods on the Merc, these super slim side pods, is I think that they're going to affect the reliability of the car.
It doesn't cool the engines. Look how many side vents they had to put on the thing.
Yeah.
And I think they've realised
And
that
then
it doesn't help cooling.
Within half an hour of the first day of testing for this test, they were putting tape over those vents.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were putting tape over them and sending them back out with tape over them. With gaff tape over the vents. So
Maybe
clearly something's up.
So you think they're trying to see how far they can push it without needing the to cool the engine? Do you know what I mean? Like
I think those vents were affecting it aerodynamically.
Yeah.
So you think that they're trying to somehow work it to less side pottage, but what's needed to cool the engine, but less for aerodynamics reasons?
I think they've gone for the slim pods on the side because they're still trying to get aerodynamic grip with air going over the bread pan.
Yeah. I'm wondering if maybe that was their half solution to the porpoising issue.
Yeah, maybe
but
they're still just trying to figure that out.
But it can't be because look how bad the thing was bouncing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're genuinely stumped on how to stop the porpoising issue.
Yeah.
And, I don't think the engine exploded, so you're in Bahrain, so if you want to test, like, engine overheating, you're in the right place.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm really interested to see what they come out with this week at the race.
Yeah, it's going to be such a good opening race because we kind of
it's completely
not
unknown.
sure where. Yeah, it's so unknown. It's great. I love it.
It's like 2014 again.
Yep.
Except hopefully it's not Mercedes dominating.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Hopefully no team finishes winning the race by 30 seconds.
No team actually dominates from this point.
No, I want to see like every team fighting for points and 4 constructors in it for the title. Like
they did actually show. I think it was Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso were actually sparring on track, or it might have been Sainz and Max Verstappen. And they were sparring on track, and it looked like a really good demo of the fact that these cars can follow each other.
Yeah. So far, all the reports are it's good.
It's better.
Yeah.
So the next story has to do with Williams. And I've heard rumours, and then I saw the episode on Drive to Survive. So there's a little bit of rumor and a little bit of forward thinking here. There are rumors that Williams in 2026 are going to be ditching Mercedes power units.
Good.
All right.
And because now this is the theory part, because the rumor is they're going to ditch and want to be a works team. The theory part is that Jost Capito, who is the CEO of Williams, and he seems like such a lad.
I loved him, hey.
He and Gunther Steiner.
His story about when he was talking about his 2 rally drivers when they were scared.
Oh, yes!
It was unreal. Can I just say, you know how I've been struggling to find like a team that I want to go for? It's Williams. I'll announce right here. I'm now a Williams fan.
He's on.
And Josh Capito is the reason. He was awesome. So sign me up. Alex Albon, let's go.
So, Jos Capito, before he got into F1, was in charge of VW's rally project.
Yep.
So here's my theory. In 2026, Williams are going to go, not the VW, but they might get Audi or Porsche engines.
Anyone but Mercedes, I'll be happy.
Yeah, you got to break away from the
Yeah.
constructor engine mold.
That's it.
I don't think McLaren will.
No.
McLaren Mercedes bonds too fucking tight.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
But McLaren are more of their own team than sort of...
I think the thing with
Yes.
McLaren is that they get the power unit, but they make their own gearboxes.
Yeah,
and
we
stuff like
literally
that.
they literally just get the power unit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They make everything else
Williams used to do that until cash became a little bit
tight.
tight. But I also noticed that the Williams is the only team on the F1 grid, and I haven't seen any footage from testing this year, but in previous years, they're the only team that has had the screen mounted to the bodywork and not on their steering wheel.
Yeah, that's weird. Well, is that?
And
just-
it's been like that since the dawn of time.
it's been like that since Valtteri Bottas used to drive for them back in 2014.
Yeah.
Is that a cash issue, or they've just that's the way they want to do it?
I don't know.
You drive it in the game, and you turn the bloody thing, and you can't see it.
Yeah.
You don't know your rev counter's fucking gone.
It seems very backward.
It's
Yeah.
very backward in terms of. But I want to see this car full of sponsors within 3 years, and
I think it's going to happen after watching that episode and hearing Jos talk. You could tell he was turning around the culture of that team, and he clearly a guy that's like, we're going for risks because we're at the bottom. Like, we can be here or we can take a risk, and work our ass off, and that's how you improve, like each year by year until all of a sudden you're back up the top. And I think he's the right man to get Williams in the right direction.
I mean, from the times in testing, and I know it's just testing, blah, 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 waffle, waffle, waffle. But from the times in testing, they look like they're right in that midfield.
Yeah, they look like they're improving where they should be, in the midfield. And
I think that's a problem, not so much Haas, but that's a problem that Alfa Romeo's got, is that they've got Frederick Vasseur, who he really does not look like a fun person.
not at all.
And then even at AlphaTauri, you've got Franz Tost, who, like, he looks like he can have a joke, but there's nothing changing in the culture at AlphaTauri. Yeah,
No.
they're very much under the thumb of Christian Horner and Red
100%.
Bull.
And you're right, man. Like, and yeah, it's just testing, but AlphaTauri stagnated during this testing.
Yeah.
They sort of like hit a ceiling and didn't improve. Like, they're not the top of the midfield team I thought they'd be, at least over the first 6 days of testing.
No, I think they're going to be lower this year than first
I
expected.
think they might not be as good as we think they might be.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question I'm going to pose to you is, 2026, we're going to see like a lot of changes, and I'm also going to run under the assumption that Andretti Global is going to be on the grid.
That'd be nice.
So Mercedes is still going to run Mercedes engines.
And McLaren will too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So McLaren's going to run Mercedes
Yeah.
Mercedes power units.
Yeah.
Ferrari's going to stick with Ferrari power units because
Yeah.
Ferrari.
that's Ferrari. I think Alpine are still going to run Renault engines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red Bull. Who do you think Red Bull are going to be running in 2026?
I'd like to see them go with Porsche.
Yeah.
I think
can see
Red Bull Porsche.
But I can see Honda coming back the same year. And
I was just thinking the same thing. I think that Honda, like they've done a billion times, are going to backflip and they're going to rejoin
I
with
think
these
they
new
will.
regs.
Yeah, I think they will.
Technically, the Red Bull engine right now is a Honda.
Yeah.
It's just
less-
under Red Bull powertrains.
Yeah. Honda is still providing service and parts for it. That's why it's got HRC on the back of the AlphaTauri
Yeah,
and
Red Bull can say all they want that it's theirs, but it's 90% a Honda's engine still.
Yeah.
And so if Honda comes back, I mean, the transition at that point in 2026 is seamless
Yeah.
for them.
So I think AlphaTauri and Red Bull are going to be running Honda in 2026.
Yeah.
Like genuine Honda. Aston Martin. Who do you think they're going to be running? Are they going to be running their own engine?
I think so.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
I think they will be.
I have a sneaking suspicion they're going to be running BMW. Thanks to our mate.
Your mate?
Your mate.
My mate?
Yes, your mate.
Who's my mate?
Yes,
You know, your mate.
your mate.
The penny's not dropping, boys. Help.
Who's team principal at Aston Martin?
Oh, my crack.
Your mate, my crack.
Oh, my crack.
Because he has ties with BMW.
Yeah, well, that makes logical sense, although I'd love to see Aston Martin make their own engines.
Mm.
I'd love to see McLaren make their own engines, but I think they're just tied in with Mercedes. Too tight. Even though they've started making their own engines in their road cars again.
Yeah, I think they keep their engines in their road cars and stick with Mercedes on the track.
Yeah. But I'd like to see Aston, make their own engines.
Yeah, me too.
I think Aston Martin, though, if they want to make road engines, they need to make them in their own road cars first.
Yeah. Well,
You know.
what is an Aston Martin engine now? What are they running?
Mercedes.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
They might be the opposite, though, where they put all their focus into engines for racing and leave the sport, like their sports cars, out of it.
Let Mercedes
Like
make
the opposite of
the
McLaren,
sport.
you know?
Yeah.
Or if they're co-developed by BMW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could see
I
that.
wouldn't mind seeing BMW back in the sport. I
Yeah.
just don't know how they go making a hybrid engine.
It's a new challenge.
Because I know Porsche and Audi and Toyota all know how to make hybrid engines for World Endurance Championship. And Peugeot. I don't know how,
Peugeot.
but no one wants a Peugeot engine. No one in a million years wants a Peugeot engine.
Isn't Peugeot owned by Renault?
Probably.
Probably.
I just know the engines are shit.
Yeah.
Just like Renault. Okay, well, that was Aston Martin. Crumbs. Now I can't remember half the teams on the damn grid.
Alfa Romeo.
Alfa Romeo. I think Alfa Romeo is still going to run Ferrari.
Yeah, they're a tie-in.
And they've got to acknowledge the fact that they are a Ferrari B team.
Yeah, that's what
They're
they're
trying really hard not to acknowledge the fact that they're a Ferrari B
Yeah,
team.
they try not to, but they are.
When they are, in fact,
Ferrari
B team.
Haas. I think Haas will still be running Ferrari.
You don't think they'll ever
I
jump
think
to someone else?
Haas probably needs to branch away.
I think so, yeah.
But
I would love him to see him take a chance on Renault. Like, go join Renault, and then you can build up data with that team. You know what I mean?
See, I think Alfa Romeo's the team that would do that. Because Haas actually has a small factory built at Fiorino.
That's right. Ferrari built that for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that kind of ties them in, doesn't it? For now.
I think part of the deal is that Haas built a lot of... they built a factory for Haas. And Gene Haas has given Ferrari some of their engineering equipment.
Right.
It's kind of like Red Bull and AlphaTauri actually sharing the same wind tunnel now.
Well, they're essentially the same team. They are literally A and B team as much as you can be. Like, even when you're watching in Drive to Survive, like you see, I don't even know who AlphaTauri's team principal is, but all you do is see him like reporting to Christian Horner. You see him like in the restaurant, like, Mr. Christian, like here's all our data, blah, blah, blah. And like all the Red Bull events, like there's AlphaTauri there, but like just sort of sitting to the side.
They're the ugly red-headed stepchild.
Yeah, it's literally just a B team to be like, see if this driver's any good, we'll throw them in the B team, and if they're any good, we'll.
When Honda left McLaren, they went to AlphaTauri because it was Toro Rosso. While Red Bull stayed with the Tag Heuer rebadged Renault engines for one more year because they just wanted to see if the Honda engines could do something. And they did. And so Red Bull was like, okay, well, yeah, put them in our engines, put them in our cars too. But I think Alfa Romeo is the one that'll take the chance because they're they're the ones that aren't as fully backed by Ferrari as Haas. But I still think in 2026 they're going to be running Ferrari engines because it's just a safe bet for them.
Which is unfortunate because, I think if you want to go anywhere, you need to take a risk every now and then.
They could be that team that breaks away, but they're tied in with Ferrari.
Which has got me
Mhm.
excited about Williams because everything's pointing them to breaking away from Mercedes
they're going to be a
and
worse
going
team.
back to being, Williams racing of old.
But who do you think's going to be supplying them with engines?
That's a great question. But
BMW.
yeah, BMW would be
Get
cool.
Williams BMW back.
Well, Jos Capito's got ties with VW, so I think it'll be either Audi or Porsche.
I could
There you
definitely
go.
see Porsche. Definitely
I could see Porsche or Audi, either of those two. Yeah, I'd love to see Williams as their own fucking team again.
I just want to see
they
them
need
have
to.
anyone but Mercedes. Get out from under that branch and go be your own
And
team.
I think if Andretti comes in before 2026, Andretti's going to be running Renault. After 2026, I see Andretti running Porsche. Andretti's got ties with Porsche. I just think it's a match.
Yep.
Like we've said from the start, the more teams and engine suppliers on the grid, the better.
100%.
Yeah, despite what the FIA says.
Yeah, well,
Like
fuck
you
the
said
FIA.
once, JB, I think it should be two. Was it two engine suppliers? Only two teams on the grid can have the same engine supply.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's 100% what it should be.
McLaren and Mercedes can have Mercedes engines.
Yep.
Ferrari and Haas can have Ferrari engines.
Red Bull.
Honda and Red Bull,
Yep.
Honda and Red Bull, and AlphaTauri are going to be Honda.
Yep.
Everyone else
That's
can
3 teams.
you fucking know what I meant,
Yes, I know.
And then Williams and if Williams and bloody
Andretti.
Andretti want to have Porsche engines, then
Yep. Alfa Romeo can go to Renault. Boom.
Alfa Romeo can go to they could do whatever.
Okay, right. So now, we're at the fastest laps combined over the 3 days.
Yes, Mick. Get in there, son.
Gets in there, Lewis.
Get in there.
Well, that's a name that's missing. JB, you're up, son.
All right.
It's all yours.
So you want me to just run through this list?
Yes,
All right.
that's what I told you before the show.
Correct.
I don't know. Sorry, I was napping in the corner for a little
Wait,
bit.
did you not go through the briefing at the start?
I was like distracted. You know the little monkey with the symbols? Ding, ding, ding. That was me. That was
Didn't you
me.
go through your notes that we prepared for you, JB?
Were you not paying attention, Lewis?
No, I was not paying attention. All right, number one, the fastest lap over the 3 days was Max Verstappen with a 1:31.720.
Watching all these cars going round and fucking round.
Someone was, it wasn't me. The second fastest lap over the 3 days was Mick Schumacher in the Haas
Yes, Mick.
Gets in there, Mick.
Get in there, Mick.
with a 1:32.241. Third fastest was Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari with a 1:32.415. Fernando Alonso in the Alpine with a 1:32.698. George Russell in the Mercedes. That's a long way down for a Mercedes.
Good.
1:32.759. Valtteri Bottas finally found some pace in the Alfa Romeo with a 1:32.985.
You sure that wasn't because Valtteri had like a gun mounted on top, right? Like it was twisted metal.
Did they do more than 30 laps this time? I guess they must have.
We'll find out.
Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri did a 1:33.002. Sergio Perez in the other Red Bull did a 1:33.105. Lando Norris in the McLaren did every lap in the McLaren because Daniel Ricciardo wasn't there. 1:33.191, and Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. I assume this was his lap from day 2.
Yeah.
1:33.207.
Get in there, Kevin.
And yet there's no Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah, there is no Lewis Hamilton in that top 10.
And Sergio Perez, not Sergio Perez. Carlos Sainz isn't in there.
Also, yeah, Sergio Perez is in there.
But that's amazing that the Haas's are in there.
Both Haases.
And Valtteri.
It's only the two Haases and the two Red Bulls in the top 10. Otherwise, it's just one driver from each other.
Yeah.
But as the drivers and the teams and us, no one really knows what the cars were
Yeah.
doing.
This doesn't mean much. It's testing at the
No
end
one
of the day.
really knows. Like, that Verstappen lap could have been a proper qualifying run.
Well-
yeah, that's it.
and the
yeah.
Mick Schumacher one could have been a proper qualifying run. Who knows how much fuel George Russell had in?
I'll tell
Who
you.
knows how much
I'll
fuel
tell you this.
Lando had in?
I'll tell you this fact. Charles Leclerc didn't run the red tyre.
Wow.
Max Verstappen did.
Yeah, Max Verstappen's was a proper qualifying run.
And Max Verstappen is sitting there. So here's the contradiction, right? So you got Lewis Hamilton, and Lewis Hamilton genuinely looks like I'm fucked.
He's flustered.
Max Verstappen is sitting there saying, "Oh, there's more in the tank with this car."
Yeah, he's looking confident, as always.
I think that Max Verstappen is putting on a brave face.
I don't know. I think Max Verstappen's always been that way. So, yeah, maybe he is putting on a brave face, but I don't think he's being different to how he is. He's always that,
He's
confident.
cocky.
Yeah. I wouldn't, yeah.
It's
He's
not
on the borderline of cocky and confident, you know what I mean? He
Yeah,
used to
it's-
be very cocky. I think he's calmed that down a bit, and now
It's
he's
not
just
a-
that confident.
it's
He's
not
got champ mentality, dude.
yeah,
You
that's
have
exactly
to
right.
be.
Exactly right. Yeah.
He's got number 1 on his fucking car now.
100%.
The target's on
So,
his back at last.
I don't think it's a brave face. I think it's a confident face.
The Red Bull's not bouncing down the front straight like the Mercedes is.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's going to be a little bit like last year. I think the Red Bull's going to come out of the blocks quick,
Yeah.
and Mercedes will catch him up. But I don't think Mercedes will catch him up quite as much as he did last year.
But
Because Mercedes will catch him up, and everyone else will catch him up too.
But I don't think it'll be Red Bull versus Mercedes this year.
No, I think it's going to be...
It's going to
Shall I
be
say?
Red Bull. It's going to be Ferrari.
Yep.
And if they can sort out their brake issues, it's going to be McLaren.
Yep.
Fingers crossed.
Look, we are on the precipice.
We're going to see 4 teams fighting for it this year,
Yeah.
I believe. I believe we are. But I think if I had to rank them in 1 to 4, I would have Ferrari 1, Red Bull 2, McLaren 3, Mercedes 4.
Yeah.
At the moment. That's how I'd have it.
Yeah.
I'm not so confident in that, but okay.
What would you go with, Joe?
Red Bull 1, Ferrari 2, Mercedes 3, McLaren 4. I think there's Mercedes will figure it out quick.
They will, yeah.
They were playing into their fucking game. They're sitting there telling us that it's shit, but how badly are they sandbagging?
Well, that's what I was saying at the start. Like, I still think they're going to be
We just sat
top
here
4
and- we
right
just-
now, and we're saying how bad they are. But that's Mercedes. Like,
yeah,
at
we
the end of
just
the day,
sat
they'll
here
pick
and
it
said,
up.
we just sat here and said we're not buying their shit,
Mm.
and now all of us would be like, "Oh, Mercedes aren't that good." But what if they are?
Yeah, but they're still top 4 good. Like, they're still competing for... They're still going to be up there. I just think at the moment they are a little bit behind in those other teams, and I think it might show on the weekend, but I think they will pick it up quick. But it comes down to how quickly they pick it up and how the other teams go forward, if that makes sense. Like, can the other teams keep progressing forward quicker than Mercedes can catch them?
Yeah, I mean, I got to throw a brutal bone out there. I don't think the Mercedes is as bad as it looks, and I don't think the McLaren's as good as it looks.
I can
think
see
the
that.
McLaren's got some fucking underlying issues.
The one car that I can sit here and say I think it's as good as it looks,
It's the
if
Ferrari.
not better, is that Ferrari.
Yeah.
Yep.
There is just something special in that car. And I'm
Everyone-
not saying that because I'm a fanboy. Like,
No.
everyone from top to bottom, like Lewis Hamilton is sitting there going, the Ferrari is the car to beat this year.
Everyone in the
Everyone's
paddock,
saying it.
the
Yeah.
F1 TV chat I watched today, everyone's like looking at Ferrari. They're like, I think they've got it.
Yeah, well, Mercedes was saying they reckon Ferrari's 6 months ahead in development. And they did have how much, like, way more wind tunnel time because they came 6th the year before. So they had a lot more wind tunnel time than the other top teams. So
And-
they should be,
And the
further
only
ahead.
person who's sitting there downplaying Ferrari is Matteo Binotto, saying, "Oh, we're not quite up there with Mercedes and Red Bull."
I think
like-
they are.
Well, you don't want to come out and be, like, cocky about it and then, they catch up to you real quick smart,
But, Binotto has always been a guy who's downplayed it.
Yeah,
He's always downplayed it because he's always gone, I could sit here and say how amazing we are, or I can sit here and say we need more improvement. And because he is an engineer at heart,
Yeah, there's always more improvement
there's
to be had.
always more improvement.
Yep.
But I think the Ferrari is going to be the car to watch. What's amazed me is it seems, like we said earlier, getting rid of the Mazepin seems to have helped Haas.
Well, they
Look,
managed to
I-
get 2 drivers in in the top 10 today.
I mean,
because
they're
of
not
it.
going to they're not going to be going for race wins. They're
No.
not going to be going for a championship. But I think that midfield has just tightened right up. I
They
don't,
could genuinely be fighting for like the 9th and 10th fucking the 1 and
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
the 1 and 2 championship points this year.
yeah, I
You
mean,
know, one of them might pull a 5th or 6th this year.
and it's almost like, because last year we had, Group A, which was Mercedes and Red Bull, Group B, which was Ferrari and McLaren, Group C, which was Alpine, Aston Martin, and AlphaTauri,
Yeah.
and then Group D, which was Williams, Alfa Romeo, and Haas.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get a Group A and a Group B.
I think we'll
You don't
still
think
get a
they'll-
Group C.
I think we'll still get a Group C too, yep.
I think Alfa Romeo is going to be in that Group C.
And I'm starting to think AlphaTauri will too.
I don't know.
I'm starting...
But it's not going to be like a yawning chasm like last year.
No, I think it'll be tighter.
It'll be tighter.
I think if there's a team that's going to drop down, it's Alpine.
Yeah?
Something about that Alpine, because I don't think the engine's that reliable. I think reliability is what's going to hurt Alpine.
Well, it's already blown up once, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we get into... might as well do it. The lap's completed, so... Longhorn, it's your time to shine, buddy.
Oh, okay. I wasn't at the briefing. What am I doing again? Nah.
Were you napping too?
Ting, ting, ting. Alrighty. So, the lap's completed. At the top, we've got Lando Norris in the McLaren with 200 laps. What an effort. In second, in the Mercedes, George Russell with 198. Rounding out the top three, we have Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri and 194. Next is Lewis Hamilton in Mercedes, 187.
Lewis.
In fifth, Zhao Guan Yu. That's how we have to say it now, right? Yep. Zhou Guan Yu in the Alfa Romeo, 184. In sixth, Sergio Perez in the Red Bull, 181.
That's Perez Sergio. Next is Carlos. Carlos.
Next is Carlos. And next is Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari, 180. In eighth, Yuki Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri, 177. In ninth, Lance Stroll, 173 in the Aston Martin. And to round out the top 10, Charles Leclerc with 169 in the Ferrari.
You mean Tsunoda Yuki? Leclerc Charles.
Stroll Lance.
Did Japan do the last name first name last?
No, I think it's
name?
just the China thing.
Must just be the Chinese.
Yeah, because Chinese have to be special.
They are pretty special.
But that's a lot of laps. I mean, I know Lando Norris had to do 200 laps because Danny Rick was a bit crook. George Russell has put in a lot of laps. So has Pierre Gasly.
Lewis did 187 laps, and Pierre Gasly did 194 laps. Neither of them were in the top 10.
Yeah.
Like, not one of those laps was good enough to crack the fucking top 10.
Actually, from Zhou Guan Yu up to George Russell, none of them, those four guys, none of them are in the top 10.
I think George Russell
Russell was.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Hamilton and Gasly weren't,
Either was
and Sainz wasn't.
Guan Yu. Sainz wasn't.
And Stroll wasn't.
Of course Stroll wasn't. But, Charles Leclerc wasn't either.
Sir Lancelot.
Yeah.
Carlos Sainz wasn't either, more
Yeah.
surprisingly.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, again.
But again, it's testing. It doesn't. I mean, yeah. Last year, didn't Yuki Tsunoda be second fastest or something?
Well, I mean, during the races, he was second fastest as well.
To his teammate.
Second fastest into the wall.
Yeah.
Hey, check out the photo. A dissed on McLaren's lack of making the dinner plates pop last
Making 'em
time.
pop.
Now they've got like the neon blue streak in the McLaren logo.
They must have heard your criticism, JB, because
I did, and they put more black on the top.
Because everyone started to put some more pop into their
Yeah,
dinner
well,
plates.
the Ferrari actually has the Ferrari logo inside the dish.
Yeah.
So as it spins, it looks like a yellow line.
Yep.
About time they listen to us.
Yeah. Now we're on Spotify.
We're
They're
finally-
finally
Yeah,
listening.
We're on
Spotify.
Spotify.
It's the Joe Rogan experience.
Max Verstappen sitting in his trailer right now listening to us. We made it big, boy.
God, these guys have got some good points.
These guys are great.
And hilarious. Everyone should check them out on Spotify.
It was
he,
fucking
get-
hilarious.
he gets it put on like the top of the halo. listen to the F1 chat.
Imagine like the F1 chat just on top of the fucking Halo.
Or I'll take my cutter back. Just
Get the fuck out.
Boils my piss just on the fucking Halo.
Watching these cars go round and fucking round. The 12th man. But
We made it, boys. We're famous.
we're
can re-
infamous.
We can retire now.
We're notorious. Okay, so, well, who were the top 3 teams that impressed you over testing?
The entirety of testing.
Yeah.
Red Bull eventually got there.
Mm.
Haas got there
Yeah.
in the end. And I don't know. I guess McLaren were alright, but yeah, I don't know. Red Bull and Ferrari.
Yeah.
I don't really have a third team. Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty much the same. My top was Ferrari. Second was Red Bull, and then my third was Haas. In the end,
Yeah.
I mean, probably because they became from so low, so to actually see some improvement is probably easy to make it on there.
Well, mine will surprise you. I actually wrote down 3, and I'm scribbling out the number 2 one. Originally, it was Ferrari because, like, Ferrari just... I mean, they were a solid car last year, but they lacked something, and then this year they just seemed to have something.
They seem to have, so far, have a world championship looking car so far,
And
compared to the rest of the game.
and that's just looking at the livery. It was going to be McLaren as my number 2, but I'm actually putting Aston Martin in there. Something about that Aston Martin, like it's not going to be setting the world on fire, but from the new look livery, the new team principal in JB's mate, Mr. Crack.
Mr. Crack.
He's like Mr. Doubleina, Mr. Bob Doubleina. There's a bit of a 90s reference for you there. But there's something about that Aston Martin where I'm just like...
Is it the livery?
It's the livery. There's something about it, though. There's something in there. It's not perfect, but there's something in there. And the third team is Haas. Like, they just...
Who thought we'd all be saying that after last?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, last test, they were nowhere.
No.
Where were they going? Nowhere. Where were you going, Haas? Fucking nowhere.
We were like, oh no, not another year of being Haas.
Drive to Survive is just going to be Gunther Steiner sitting there thinking, how many ways can I kill myself?
And then in 2 weeks, we're sitting here like, yeah, Haas, Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher. We're like, actually excited to see them this year now.
And it's because the Mazepins are gone.
100%.
You know, they just had too much influence. And look, we said it earlier, like it was sad how Nikita Mazepin got dumped from the team, and financially they probably could have used the money from Dmitry Mazepin. But seemingly cutting ties with them and getting K-Mag back in, a rejuvenated K-Mag,
It's the best thing they could ask for.
has just pepped that team right up. I mean, I know first race they'll probably come second last or whatever, but there's something there.
Yeah, there's more light at the end of the tunnel now than there was.
The bottom 3 teams, for me, the 3 teams that impressed me the least, Alpine, like their livery is not great because that pink is just ruining it for me, but like their engine seems unreliable. Alfa Romeo, because the whole car just looks unreliable. And I think this is not really going to raise any eyebrows when I say Mercedes. Mercedes just seem off the pace. Or not so much off the pace, but just...
Not as developed.
Yeah. They're off the left side of centre.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys think? Who are your bottom 3?
Well, my most bottom team, obviously, is Alfa Romeo. Not impressed with that car at all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the Aston Martin's as good as it looks.
Yeah, I'm with you, JB.
And I don't think the AlphaTauri's as good as it looks.
Yep. Yeah, my 3 is Alfa Romeo easily at the bottom. Then it's the Alpine. And then it was a tie between AlphaTauri and Aston Martin. But I've gone with AlphaTauri. I just think at the end of the day, they are just going to be Red Bull's B team. And I think they're going to be slightly behind whatever Red Bull is. So I just don't think they're ever going to impress as much as I thought they were going to. But I think they're just always going to be that B team and slightly behind. Like they're never going to be more innovative to do something different from that, if that makes sense.
I didn't put Alpine on my list because Alpine's sort of exactly where I expected them to be.
What, nowhere?
Yeah.
Just
no
man's
You
land.
did this last year, JB, and look what happened.
Well, there we
Buddy
go.
Ocon won a race.
Hang on, no, he said he wasn't going to shit on him this year. Last
He did.
episode, he said he wasn't going to shit on him. They were going to go good. And we said he was going
Well,
to jinx them.
I'm not disappointed in them because they're sort of where I expected them to be.
On fire.
Well, yeah, on fire in the way that they don't want to be on fire.
Hey, the Williams caught fire too,
Yeah,
all right.
I know.
But I
don't want
am-
to talk about it.
But I am disappointed in Aston Martin and I am disappointed in AlphaTauri and I'm genuinely disappointed in Alfa Romeo.
Yeah,
I thought all 3 of those cars could be better.
The Alphas.
The Alphas,
Yeah.
yeah.
The Alpha Club.
The Alpha Club and the Aston Club.
Yeah.
So, there's room for improvement, but maybe they're sandbagging.
Well,
But I don't think they are.
No.
I didn't put this question on here again, so I'm throwing out a random question here. What do you think Red Bull's biggest weakness this year will be?
That's a good
I
question.
think it's the power unit.
Yeah,
I think reliability is going to hurt it.
I can see that.
I don't think they'll be as consistent as they were last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Mercedes will be as consistent as they were.
This is why, straight up, Carlos Sainz, world champion, because I can see Ferrari being the consistent team.
I think
all
Ferrari's
year.
going to get the consistency.
Yeah, all year. I can see them being consistent all
Well,
year.
they
They might
would-
not win every, like, they'll concede races, but I think they'll be consistent all
I
year.
think they were consistent. They were the most consistent team last year.
Yes, but I think they've got a better car this year to be consistent.
Yeah, but they'll be consistent in terms of, and they'll be winning races consistent.
I think you'll
They
see
won't be-
Ferrari on the podium most weeks.
Yep, absolutely.
That's what I
A
think. we'll see.
Ferrari and a Red Bull and a Mercedes. I don't think McLaren's quite there.
What do you think? So, what do you think the Red Bull's weakness is going to be this year?
I think what you said, the only thing I can see would be the reliability of the power unit.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
think-
aerodynamically it's fine.
I think AlphaTauri's going to have the same issue.
Yeah,
Because
that's what-
running the same power unit.
Yeah, that's what disappoints me with AlphaTauri is I get this, and it's evident that like, they're clearly the B team. They're going to have whatever's like second hand from Red Bull in a sense, and they're going to be, I don't think they get given the chance to be as innovative as maybe they want. It's probably like whatever Red Bull says, try this for us, and it might be things that aren't as great as what Red Bull's doing. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
it sort of feels like. So it's like they can't really go anywhere. They're just always going to be at best what they were last year. I
Yeah.
think.
What do you think, JB?
I think aerodynamically the Red Bull's fine. I think maybe if it's going to be anything, it's probably going to be the power unit, but I don't think the power unit's that bad.
Yeah.
It hasn't changed that much from last year.
Okay,
I
well,
think it's just going to be overall consistency.
what do you think the Mercedes weakness is going to be?
Porpoising.
Aerodynamics.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're struggling with it already.
I think it's aerodynamics, and I think if they stick with those small side pods, reliability is going to go out the window.
I reckon by the time we get to the Grand Prix next week, they'll have the original side pods
Yeah.
back on.
Yeah, they will.
What do you think Ferrari's weakness is going to be?
I don't think they've got a weakness.
Oh yeah.
Yet.
Maybe this is really going out on a limb, but maybe Charles Leclerc crashing when he shouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe Charles getting
That's-
frustrated, maybe playing in his own head a bit.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can see is like him binning it when he's like on pole in Monaco. He's already made
Yeah.
pole and then he bins it. Like
he seems like a slightly less angry Yuki Tsunoda.
He's real
Yeah.
harsh on himself, and he seems to feel pressure easy.
I like Charles though, but here's the thing with him is like you'll get that where like he can be the guy that gets you pole in Monaco, but then also the guy that crashes it and takes him out the race. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he can be that guy who will win you the GP. Like he's a GP winner, but then he's also the guy who's in a good position and then accidentally bins it, and you're like, oh,
And I think if Carlos Sainz starts winning races and Charles Leclerc starts winning races, but Carlos Sainz is winning more races, that'll play on Charles' psyche.
Charles Leclerc will
Yep.
start making dumb mistakes. I think
Yes.
he feels pressure way too easy.
Yeah.
What do you think the McLaren's biggest weakness this year will be?
Danny Ricciardo.
Front brakes. I think the McLaren's got a lot of issues that they haven't really uncovered yet. My confidence between this car in Barcelona and this car in Bahrain is fucking apples and oranges. It doesn't like low-speed corners. The front brake cooling system doesn't work properly. I think aerodynamically it's going to struggle a little bit. I think the power unit's going to be okay.
I think they're doing alright aerodynamically. It's just the brakes they sort of need to get on top
I
of.
think it's going to have teething issues.
Yeah. I hate to say it because I love Daniel Ricciardo and I know he's such a great driver, but I'm really worried for him this year. I'm really worried he's just not going to get it in time, and he needs to pick it up quicker. Like last year, you could give him so many races and go first time in the team, etc., etc. This year, it's like he needs to show it from day dot in that car. If he doesn't, it's like, especially with how good Lando's getting, like Lando's starting to really increase the gap between him. It's like if he doesn't pick it up real quick, that's what I can see being the bad thing for McLaren this year.
For me, it's hard to narrow down McLaren to one thing that could happen. I think aerodynamically the car is fine. I think power unit wise the car is fine. I think the brakes are going to be an issue.
They seem to think they've got a fix for it, but we'll find out on Friday.
I think, though, the biggest issue is not so much Daniel Ricciardo specifically, but the relationship between Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris. Because from watching Drive to Survive, I was getting a real strong impression that they do not get along.
They made it look that way, but I think these days it's better. I think in Drive to Survive they made it look that way, and I think they did have a bit of that for a while, but I think they're on a better page now with it.
Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris had a genuine bromance.
Yeah.
I don't
And
think
they talk about that in Drive to Survive.
I don't think Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo's bromance is on the same level.
No, but I think it's
But-
there at the moment.
But you saw that McLaren unboxed thing where they're sitting in the fucking
Yeah.
press room and they're like, I think I'm just going to call it a day. And Daniel Ricciardo brings his phone out and he's like, hello, a day? Yeah, I'm just going to call it a day. And then Lando's like joking back. He's like, oh, this dead sunflower in the middle of the room is like me after Sochi. It's just fucking hilarious. Like, they can crack jokes around each other. It's just not Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris level.
I think they've worked the balance out, though, for what they're going to have.
But Daniel Ricciardo is going to start feeling some fucking pressure this year.
That's the only thing I'm worried for is...
Because
if he's
Lando
gonna,
won't. Because Lando's... This is the year...
Lando's killing
If
it.
it wasn't already, Lando Norris is the out-and-out number one driver at McLaren.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to play on Ricciardo's
And
mind
now
a
he's
bit.
getting paid like it too. And his contract's extended to 26.
Yeah.
So he's
The future of McLaren. And
he's the number one driver at McLaren now.
Yeah.
And Daniel Ricciardo's got a lot of work to do to try and even the keel.
But
or at
one
least-
thing I'm excited for is with bringing, like, Ricciardo's strength is wheel-to-wheel racing, like overtaking and racing,
we're
proper
gonna see,
racing.
Like,
So
dive
I'm
bomb
ho-
Daniel Ricciardo.
yeah, that's it. That's one thing I'm excited to see is him to have the ability to do that again will be in his favour.
Particularly with a car that should be made more to what he wants.
Yeah.
Rather than inheriting Carlos Sainz's car with a Mercedes power unit in the back.
So maybe I'm talking bollocks. I'm just trying to think of the look, because at the end of the day, I think it's going to come down to these tiny little things, and that's the only thing I can think it might come down to. But I definitely hope it doesn't.
Okay, well, my next team is Alpine. What do you think Alpine's biggest weakness is?
Power unit.
Power unit?
Power unit.
Esteban Ocon.
Ocon can drive.
He's all right.
He won Hungary.
Yeah, did he
And
though?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did win it.
Yeah.
but,
He crossed
you
the
know.
finish line first, therefore he won the
Yeah,
race.
I understand that.
Yeah, but by your logic, Johnny, you've beaten me in the F1 game by 6 seconds, but you've had 9 seconds worth of penalties. So I've won the race, and you've sat there going, but you didn't really win the race.
I crossed the finish line first.
You crossed the finish line first.
My logic-
with
my
9
logic-
seconds worth of penalties.
My logic was sound. I beat you to the finish line.
Yeah, but you
Oh,
had
Vin
nine-
Diesel over here, just winning.
Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a while. How good's Vin Diesel going to look on his push bike in the next Fast and Furious? Petrol prices are at $2 a litre. That Dodge Charger is now
It doesn't
worth more
matter
than-
because I put 98% Shell fuel in my car because it's used by the Ferrari Formula One team. If it says on the damn label, I don't care that it cost me $2.30 a litre. I don't care.
I
My
don't,
car.
I don't even know what McLaren's using now. It was Mobil. Who the fuck goes to a Mobil service station these days?
Is there Mobile even exist?
Yeah, Mobil's at Black's Beach.
Oh yeah, it is too. Yep.
You know what? You know what they need though? They need to swap to Puma.
Puma.
Puma petrol.
Yuck.
Yes. Because you can't have Shell because that goes in my car.
Imagine Woolworths branding. Woolworths fuel. Caltex Woolworths brand. Just a
Caltex
big
is,
Woolworths sticker on.
Caltex is Ampol now.
The fresh food people, just on the side.
That's not Airpole. Airpole, the fresh food people.
But it's petrol, not pure.
Yeah, but it's not Shell, and Shell is with Coles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you an exclusive Coles shopper?
Yes, I am actually.
You're a Coles slut because fucking because Shell. Wow. This is brilliant. I shop at Coles because Coles is Shell and Shell is Ferrari. Fuck you guys.
I shop at Coles because it's around the corner from my place. My mum prefers shopping out at bloody Woolworths out at Uralee.
Yeah, but Ampol sponsors Jamie Whincup, and I don't like Jamie. Actually, no, he retired.
He's tea principal there.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm sure at Bathurst, Neil Crompton is going to give us the whole sad story about Jamie Whincup.
Jamie Whincup's
Nope.
going to drive at Bathurst, I think.
Oh, fuck.
God
God's sake.
God bless his team, mate.
Oh,
Did he finish Bathurst last year? I think he did.
he did. With petrol.
Wow. One step at a time.
Yeah, but he didn't place very high.
No, good. Fuck him.
This poor old Craig Lowndes just sitting there going, we could have won it. We could have done something.
Jamie Whincup and Craig Lowndes won it when it mattered most, when they were driving a Ford.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm amazed you don't use Shell because Ford was running Shell at one point.
Yeah, but I don't have a Ford anymore. I have a Hyundai.
Yeah, but I've got a Nissan and I'm putting Ferrari fuel in mine.
Does it make it go faster?
Yes.
I'm surprised you haven't painted it red.
Yeah. Ferrari Red X Trail. Put a Ferrari logo on it. Like
No,
debadge it.
because it's a Nissan, I should actually paint it blue and put a pink line around it. Like the Alpine.
Racing Point.
Yeah.
And run Castrol.
Yuck.
Actually, when
Yeah,
my car...
Castrol's got good oil.
Yeah, well, no, they put Castrol... When I get my car serviced, they put Castrol in it.
Yeah, well, it's
Because
an
I've got
Alpine.
the sticker sitting there going, ugh, get away from me.
It's an Alpine.
You're not a Ferrari. You're not Shell. Get out of my car.
Your car's an Alpine.
Right.
Yeah,
Alpine.
your car's a shit box.
It's really not.
No, it isn't. I'm being horrible.
It's a beast. It's everything. It's a go-kart and a rally car at the same time.
Right, next team, Aston Martin. What do you think's their biggest weakness?
Might crack.
How come we still can't get over
Who are the biggest children ever?
It's just like, I keep forgetting he works for Aston Martin and someone says his name. White crack's probably going to be one of their strengths, to be honest, but
I think you will, yeah. I think you will.
but his name's going to be one of our fucking
Well, we just found the intro for the show. Yet again. Thank you, Mike Crack. It's just going to be the Mike Crack hour.
the White crack.
The Mike Crack Chat. That's what we should be called.
We're going to have to rename the show.
Broadcasting live from Krakatoa. We've killed him again. We've killed him again.
Okay.
The Aston Martin's
Biggest weakness will be Lance Stroll.
aerodynamically, it doesn't look great. Apparently, it drove like a pig. That was Sebastian Vettel's words.
Do you know Lance Stroll is so boring and so shouldn't be on the grid that you don't even see him once in Drive to Survive. Not once! You don't see him because he's the most boring person ever.
He's just another vanilla Canadian.
Like, not even one word from him to be like, I know I'm Lance Stroll, gonna be the next world champion. Like, they didn't even, you know how they do the clip thing, they introduce the drivers? They didn't even do him because they're just like, you are so boring. We don't even want to hear you say your name. Like, go away. Like,
You just made Lance Stroll sound like a fucking Dalek.
that's how he talks. He's got this Canadian accent. Like, oh, I don't know. He's just, oh my god.
Personality
I am
vacuum.
Lance Stroll.
Oh my
Drive
god.
for Aston Martin. for F1.
Exterminate.
You'd have-
Exterminate.
Oh, a leather couch has got more personality than Lance Stroll. It's just, so that's gonna be their weakness this year, everyone. Bloody Lance Stroll.
I can imagine him on the team radio. Okay, Lance, you've got to push the button to overtake. Exterminate. Kill the doctor.
Nikita Mazepin's gone for like 3 days, and Brody's like,
Found my next
"Got
driver.
you, motherfucker."
It's just pay drivers. He's just sitting there going, exterminate.
If you're a pay driver and you're not good, you're straight away on my bad books. I'm coming for you. Don't you worry
Found
about
out
that.
Lando Norris is a pay driver.
Yeah,
Apparently
he's pretty rich. Yeah,
His dad's like loaded.
Well,
they all are, but really, like most
what about,
of them are.
What about Nicholas Latifi? You going to
Yeah.
go after him as well?
Yeah, I don't like him. Yep. We can go down that path if you want.
He'll be out of the
When we
sport.
get to Williams.
Hopefully, he's out of the sport because I want a different driver. I like Albon. I just
Hey, at least
not a fan of
Latifi is a Canadian with a personality.
he is. Yeah, well, the nicest guy in the world. You know what his thing is, right? He's like the nicest guy in the world, but then when you hear him complain on the radio, it just sounds strange that you're just like, I don't like it. Does that make sense?
It's that weird
Like-
thing of it's him cracking up, but he sounds happy that he's cracking up. You know, like
Yeah.
he's being polite about this car is a shitbox, but it does have some good points,
Yeah.
as opposed to Sir Lancelot in his Dalek voice.
Exterminate.
Kill the doctor. Exterminate. Exterminate. I can actually do the distortion with enough gravel in my throat.
So, what do you guys think would be their weakness, other than?
Aerodynamically,
Yeah, aerodynamically, it looks like a piece of shit.
but it's got a great paint job.
It does.
Yeah, it's going to look good in 15th.
So we've already done AlphaTauri because we know what's wrong with AlphaTauri. So
Yeah,
we'll get to Alfa Romeo.
Well, they're just
Oh.
bad. Move on.
They
$2.99.
they don't have a fucking. They don't have a strength.
No,
Their entire car is a weakness.
yeah, it's shocking. So
It's-
far.
It's sort of quick sometimes, but
Yeah.
apparently it's very fragile. It breaks a lot.
See,
Reliability.
see
is
if
an
you
issue.
remember this one. The wet distribution is a disaster, and it handles like a pig. Oh, you got to say that. Why not? It's a Ferrari.
It's a shitbox.
It's a shitbox.
It's an Alfa Romeo. It's a shitbox.
Yeah.
Valtteri Bottas is not a happy boy.
No.
I'm sure Valtteri's sitting there going, I could have gone back to Williams.
They
Yeah.
should have. And
They
they
should have.
The problem is it would have been Bottas and Latifi, but if it was Bottas and Albon, my God, I'd be pumped. My God, I'd be pumped. That'd
Yeah.
be a good driver.
Yeah, look, it's hard to nail down what's wrong with the Alfa Romeo. I think the one good thing they got is that Ferrari engine. That's it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, let's call a spade here. Bottas is never going to be... like he's number one driver at the team, but he'll never be a number one driver. Because he's just...
He'll never be a world champion driver.
that too.
Yeah. He's a number one driver at 8 out of 10 teams.
Yeah, but he always will rub me as a number two driver.
Yeah,
no
yeah,
matter
yeah.
where he goes.
I think he is that too, but I mean, like,
He doesn't seem to have any leadership.
no.
And Zhou Guan Yu, well, you know, you didn't win F2. Piastri won F2, and you got palmed off to Alfa Romeo because they needed a driver
And money.
and money. And they
So,
took
yeah,
that sweet, sweet China money.
You want to be good, Zhou Guanyu, or you're going to get the Mazepin Stroll treatment too. Don't you worry, you're not safe.
Yeah.
I'll come for you. Although, I'll be honest, he hasn't looked as bad in this last few days.
Yeah, but no
in
one could,
pre-season, I was like...
one could look as bad as Mazepin.
True.
I mean,
But,
Maldonado won the race, and he was the Maldinator.
Yeah.
I mean, God, he launched more projectiles than a fucking Korean nuclear arms test.
0. 0 is the answer to that.
Yeah. Anyway,
Alfa Romeo is not going to be good.
no.
Yeah.
No.
They
not
will
much
be bottom team.
I think they will. The only good thing they've got going is their plate to pop.
Yes. Yes.
That's the only thing.
And the Ferrari engine.
Yep.
And then we get to Haas. What do you think the biggest problem with Haas is?
Oh, we've already covered that. So
He's gone.
yep. Oh yeah, the Mazepins. Now that's gone. It's positive from here, I think, for Haas.
The only
We'll just
problem
wait and
is
see.
we don't know the true performance of it yet.
Or their livery could be even better.
Yeah, the livery sucks, but
Yeah.
Are we talking performance issues or just issues in general?
Oh,
Their
I've got
livery,
nothing else.
Their livery's not going to be fucking any different finishing 16th than it is finishing 20th.
I think if they're going to have any issues performance-wise, it'd be reliability.
Yeah. I don't think the car's... I mean, it's definitely not there.
I think they might. But I think they'll beat Alfa Romeo this year, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be rock bottom.
They'll
But
be
they're
down
going to
there,
be
though.
second from the bottom.
Yep.
But
They might get points at some point this year.
yeah. All right, and then we get to what 3 drivers impressed you during testing?
Impressed me.
Yeah.
Kevin Magnussen's probably number 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Just because he came back into a 2022 car and just set the fastest time at A2.
that's pretty good. I didn't even think of that. That's good.
Max Verstappen, obviously. He got his head around the Red Bull, finally. And Lando Norris did 200 laps by himself in the McLaren, even though most of it was brake issues, but he impressed me. Just dedication.
My top 3 was Alex Albon. I think he did some really good laps. Williams in there. Mick Schumacher to get the second fastest time in a Haas is impressive. And then my third is Lando Norris, just for the sheer amount of work he had to put in because there was no other driver.
Yep.
Well, I went with Charles Leclerc.
Ooh.
He impressed me the most because he really did put in a lot of time to get consistent laps.
Yeah.
And for a couple of days there, he did have the fastest lap. My number 2 was Kevin Magnussen. I mean, he just jumped into that Haas and turned it into a rocket. Or a testing rocket. And the third for me was Mick Schumacher. He seems to be one of the rookies from last year that's improved the most so far.
He's a future world champion, I think. I generally think he will be.
The bottom 3 drivers for me, the 3 drivers that impressed me the least, Zhou Guanyu.
Mm-hmm.
He just...
He's a
I don't think
rookie.
he's that bad.
He's a rookie, yeah.
He's a rookie. I don't know. I just... With a lot of hype around him, and I think a little bit of it has to do with the internet. Like, the internet was sitting there going, it should have been Piastri in that seat. And I was a bit torn on it because it's like you want to see Piastri in it. You want to see Piastri on the grid because he is the F2 guy and he's Australian and he's a talented driver.
But you don't want to see him in an Alfa Romeo.
That's right.
I think this is the best thing that's happened for Piastri, taking 1 year as a reserve driver, waiting till a seat opens up.
Yeah.
A better seat. I think that's probably the best thing for him.
But yeah, Zhou Guanyu, like he just felt very meh. Like he put in the laps, but there was nothing truly outstanding about what he was doing.
No.
My number 2 was Max Verstappen.
Unimpressed.
Yeah, I just not that he was.
topped the timesheet on day 3.
Oh yeah,
He
but
topped the timesheet overall.
not that he was bad. Like I wasn't. This isn't like the worst driver. It's just the driver that the drivers that disappointed me. He just seemed like he was, until last day, he was sort of off in the wilderness.
Fair
And
enough.
I just thought for a world champion, he'd want to sort of stamp his authority.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Sergio was fucking doing any better.
Yeah, it's right.
I think the car itself was off in the wilderness.
Yeah. And see, because Sergio is the number 2 driver, you sort of sit there and go, well, it's expected that he's not going to be up there. But for me, Max should have been putting the rubber stamp on, going, I'm the world champion, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I don't think number 1 on my list will surprise anyone. Lewis Hamilton. He just... The car wasn't there, and...
Neither was he.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like George Russell is really stamping his authority and going, I'm in this team now. I'm not Valtteri Bottas. You're not going to walk all over me.
100%.
Yeah. How about you, Longhorn? We'll go with you, Longhorn.
Me, okay. My 3. Bottom drivers need I say more? Lance Stroll. Pretty much
Kill
explained
the
everything.
doctor.
I also had, and then I had Valtteri Bottas. Again, coming into a team and not stamping any authority when he's got a rookie driver.
More to the
next him.
point, coming into a team and sucking.
And it sucks, yeah. Just the whole situation. Should have gone to Williams. And then finally, I've also got Lewis Hamilton. Just, I think George Russell is stamping his authority more than Hamilton. And he was, not that, again, the timesheets in testing shouldn't really mean anything because it's testing at the end of the day. But he was nowhere in a lot of the timesheets. I mean, I think on one day he was bottom. He wasn't in consistently up the top in the fastest or anything like that. So, the third for me was Lewis Hamilton.
Well, most disappointing for me, and it probably is machinery, Valtteri Bottas. He was nowhere. Second most disappointing, Lewis Hamilton. And third most disappointing for me is actually Sebastian Vettel.
Yep.
I haven't seen head nor heart of him this entire test. He's nowhere. He's been nowhere.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what he's doing. He's not setting the world on fire. Neither's his car. But I expected more. Maybe I expected more from him. I
Yep.
definitely expected more from Lewis.
I'm going to pop a quick question here. Do you think Vettel... Pardon me. Do you think Vettel will call it a day at the end of the season?
I think so, if it doesn't go well this year.
I don't know, because I still feel like Aston Martin's a team on the up and up. I feel like he could ride out one more year with them,
As in this
How
year
old
or
is
a
he?
year after?
as in next year.
I think he's like
How old is he now?
36 or 37.
Yeah, well, Fernando Alonso's fucking 42 or whatever, and that Alpine doesn't look great. You could argue the same question for Fernando Alonso as well.
Are Aston Martin wanting to go with him, like being the position they're in where they've got this 5-year plan to get to where they want? Is Sebastian Vettel going to be on their radar to continue
Yes.
with, you think?
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Undoubtedly.
Well, I mean, a lot of pieces fall to what does Lewis Hamilton do? Because I mean, if he gets outdriven by George Russell consistently, and that car is a dog, either Hamilton's going to want out of Mercedes or he's going to want out of F1.
I think he'll retire.
You're not suggesting Sebastian Vettel would go to Mercedes.
No. I think Ocon would replace Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah?
Yeah, they would need a
Or
number 2
Or
driver.
Piastri. That'd be cool.
I don't think Piastri would go to Mercedes.
Well, the reserve drivers Mercedes are Nick de Vries and Stoffel Van Dorn. So.
I can see Ocon going there.
yeah,
I
because
can see Ocon going
Ocon is still managed by Toto Wolff.
Yeah, right. Well, that makes the most sense.
And they'll go, okay, we've got a clear number 1, George Russell, he's our focus. Ocon can come in and do a Valtteri Bottas job. and we focus on George Russell rather than having two of these top dogs battling it out.
And then Piastri will get Ocon seat at Alpine.
Yep.
Because Alpine's smart enough to know
They're his future. That's
and
the
what
future.
they've got.
Yep.
I really hope George Russell doesn't start becoming an egotistical dickhead when he starts winning championships, like Lewis did.
Of course he's going to.
I hope not. He doesn't strike me as that sort of guy.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. He does.
Drive to Survive, the current season of Drive to Survive, does show a little bit of George Russell.
Arrogant.
Yeah.
I will give him one thing though. It also did show that he put everything into Williams and actually cared about Williams. I thought, like, it didn't show that he was this guy that was just entitled to go to Mercedes. It showed him as someone who cared and wanted to do good things for Williams.
Got the impression that he almost didn't want to leave Williams.
Yeah. Yep. I got that too. I mean, of course he's going to, because he's going to Mercedes. But if he wasn't on that path, you could see him wanting to stay there. Hey.
Oh well, at least he's got loyalty.
I think at the end of the season we're going to lose Nicholas Latifi though.
Hope so.
It's going to be interesting who they replace him with though. I think honestly, I think Williams will replace Latifi with Daniel Kvyat.
Yeah.
Kvyat signed all the waivers and everything about Russia.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have to.
Because there was a lot of questions about whether he'd do that because he's doing endurance racing this year.
I don't know if they'd go back for Kvyat. I reckon they might look at a driver that might come up to grab, like a Pierre Gasly or something, depending on how good they do this year. I think the interesting one for me is Pierre Gasly, because he's a driver that deserves to be in one of these top teams, but he's not going to get back into Red Bull.
No.
So which seat opens up for him to go into, you know? Does Ricciardo do bad this year and he takes Ricciardo's seat at McLaren? Or does Vettel go and he takes number one spot at Aston Martin?
I think that if Ricciardo has a crappy year, Gasly's going to replace him.
Yeah.
And I think if Ricciardo has a crappy year at McLaren, his F1 days are done.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I think he's another guy who's going to IndyCar.
Yeah, I think they'll move. The sport will move away on from him.
I think, for Ricciardo, if Ricciardo wants to be anything decent this year, and I got this again from watching Drive to Survive, Ricciardo's got to knock off the shit. Like, in Drive to Survive...
It's who he is, but it's his personality, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean...
It's also why everyone loves him.
But he does too much.
Yeah, but do you want to be lovable or do you want to be world champion?
That's right.
Yeah.
If you're in F1, you want to be world champion. If you're not there to be world champion, to quote a great man, get the fuck out.
I think he's there to be a world champion, but I'm not sure. He just obviously hasn't figured it out. Yeah, and he had the car at one point and it didn't work out for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, hasn't worked out for him in that regard, but he's also made bad decisions.
Yeah.
Jumping at times, so.
Right. So, we're going to be back on next week because this weekend coming is the Bahrain F1. Yes. It's the thing we've been waiting since December for the season to come back, and it's back without Michael Massey.
I'm so pumped.
Without communications from the stewards being heard on the broadcast, which means we don't get to hear, "No, Mikey, no, that's so not right." And we get to see these new cars being driven in anger.
In race format for the first time.
And Eva Mendes in race control, right? Is that a thing? Still?
Did you drop his cutter back yet? He'll take it from your cut.
This is generally the most exciting opening race. I mean, I've only gotten into the sport more recently. I don't know how you guys feel, but would this be the most exciting opening race for you guys in a while?
Yeah.
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 Just because we're going into the unknown now.
Complete unexpected.
Yeah. I mean, this is sort of what Melbourne 2014 was.
Yeah.
We had 4 years of Sebastian Vettel domination, and then he's coming around on his qualifying flying lap and he spins. And it's like all of a sudden, the F1 world was free of tyranny.
Yeah.
The last
To begin an even longer period of tyranny under Mercedes and Lewis fucking Hamilton.
oh Lewis.
We were out of the frying pan and into the fucking fire on that one. So hopefully this is the end of the Mercedes tyranny and we get 16 years of Charles Leclerc.
That's nice.
And Formula One truly shows its strength by fucking us again. 16 years of Ferrari.
The only thing missing is there's no German national anthem to go with the Italian national anthem with that.
Mick Schumacher would eventually take one of their seats.
I think he'll take Charles Leclerc's seat.
Mick Schumacher will get there and we'll have like 6 years of Carlos Sainz as champion.
Yeah.
And then Mick Schumacher will take the other 10.
Yeah. He'll be Sainz and Schumacher.
It'll be 10 years of da 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 da.
Yeah, pretty much.
Da, 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 da.
So, God bless Formula One and its tyrannical fucking shit.
I think last time I actually felt like this energized by a season. I mean, 2020.
Was by the middle of last season.
Yeah.
No, but at the start of a season. Like 2020, we had to wait until what, bloody June?
Yeah, because of COVID and
Because of COVID. But I think the last time I had this much excitement at a season beginning was 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last year when Max Verstappen fucking showed the Red Bull was faster than the Mercedes.
Yeah, because he overtook Lewis Hamilton outside the track.
Yeah, but it was like genuinely a quicker car.
Did you notice on Drive to Survive that they showed Max overtaking Lewis and going off the track, but they did not show the 20 fucking laps of Lewis breaking the track limit
No.
over and over and over and over again?
Did you notice on Max Verstappen's fastest lap on day 3 of testing yesterday where his car was in turn 4? Way the fuck out there where he was, and they counted the lap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was pretty much where his car was last year, overtaking Lewis Hamilton. He was way on the outside of turn 4. But no one at the FIA is measuring track limits at a test day. So
Michael Massey got the boot.
Michael Massey's just like pointing the Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Michael Massey's just pointing
He
at
had
the
home
screen.
with his beer, like, oh.
Michael Massey's pointing at the screen. He's like, "Oi!"
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
That's him.
That's the one.
Yeah, no, I am fucking ready for this.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I am pumped.
The other thing I noticed on Drive to Survive is, and he hasn't seen it yet, but the Silverstone crash. Every other crash, they show about 20 replays of it in slow motion. That one, they only showed it once.
Yeah.
Once.
That's because the whole world's seen it 20 times.
Oh, yeah. There was something about it. I was just like, yeah.
I think the most disappointing part about Drive to Survive is Max Verstappen is not part of it.
Yeah, well, they don't get to talk to him.
No, he doesn't want to be part of it.
Yeah, he said, I'm not in it.
He says,
Yeah,
"I don't
yeah. I
wanna be
mean,
part-"
they have clips where you see him talking and stuff, but like they don't interview him.
Yeah, because he
stuff.
doesn't want to be a part of it, which
Yeah,
is shit because
which
he's world
sucks.
champion.
Yeah, it does.
I
suck.
wanted to see his fucking perspective on this whole thing.
Yeah,
They should have done 20 fucking episodes.
yeah.
Lewis Hamilton's perspective and Max's perspective. Fucking race by race. I don't know why they've got to do fucking chop and change and all this shit and then like a random episode on Nikita fucking Mazepin
Yeah.
in the middle.
I suppose, yeah, I know what you're saying. Last year you could have done that, but at the same time, it is interesting to see, like, you know, I'd like the episode on Yuki Tsunoda.
See,
I
I
like
hated
that.
that one. I started
Did ya?
dozing off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I liked that one. I liked the Williams one.
Yeah.
The Haas episode I didn't mind because it, I guess, affirmed everything I thought of Mazepin.
It affirms that Mazepin is indeed a fuckwit.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't mind it when they go off into other points of the paddock, but I definitely would have loved if Verstappen was more like, obviously he wanted to be in it and that could have created that. You know,
what I would have liked? Like 6 episodes where it's 2 episodes on Lewis, like Lewis's perspective, 2 episodes on Max Verstappen's perspective and 2 episodes on Michael Massey's perspective.
Mm.
Yeah, because Michael Massey shows up a couple of times.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, but
What do you... we're going to have to do a deep dive into this once everyone's all caught up on the whole thing. Maybe even give it a rating, what we thought of it compared to the other seasons.
Give me a couple of days.
Yeah. Next pod, we'll do a quick little thing on it.
all right. We're speaking of the next pod. That's going to be next week, where we do our review, our breakdown, our analysis on the Bahrain F1, as well as a bit of Drive to Survive talk and whatever news items that come forward between then. So, JB, you want to say goodbye?
I'll see you guys in a week.
Longhorn?
Goodbye.
And on behalf of everyone here at the F1 Chat, thank you for joining us both on YouTube and on Spotify. And we will catch you next week. Thank you for tuning in. It is goodbye. Hello out there, Internet land. This is the it's not the P&J anymore. It's the F1 Chat. Fuck it. You can start.